Hey crew, what it do? It's your girl, A-True. You guys are watching my YouTube channel. So, bringing us to our third date, which is actually like the most important date of all, because it's where I fell in love with him. So basically, he took me camping on our third date, and every single person like told me not to go. Friends at work were like, dude, no, like it's way too soon. You don't even know this guy. How could you even think that? Especially when you're always talking about not getting kidnapped or not being human trafficked. Like, this screams you're gonna get murdered. That this guy wants to take you to the desert by yourself where there's no cell phone coverage and where you don't know anybody and take you camping. Like, are you nuts? My manager at work, I remember Dave, he was like, I'm gonna need the name of both of his parents before I let you go. But I just had this feeling. I was like, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid to be with him. Like, I just wasn't afraid. So he took me, and we found, it was just like perfect from start to finish. He came and picked me up, and he came inside and met my mom, and he shook her hand, and he like had a printout of his driver's license for her, and he had like a map of where he was taking me, and he was like, this is where we're gonna sleep, this is the hike I'm taking her on, like this is the time I expect to have her back tomorrow. And he like looked at her before we left and was like, I'm taking her perfect and I'm gonna return her perfect. And we talked the whole ride there. Like, it wasn't awkward, it wasn't weird, there was no like silences. And I loved the scenery. The clouds were really beautiful that day. He took me to a place I'd never been before, which wasn't hard, but I had never been there before, and we found this perfect spot. You know, like, we drove up to it and you could see the sunset. And it was just the most amazing experience for me. And it was incredible from start to finish. And we like got out and he gave me a hug. And oh, I probably should have mentioned this, that like before this, I wasn't even sure if this guy liked me because he had not kissed me, he had not held my hand, he hadn't put his arm around me, he had made no moves whatsoever. Like, we hugged hello and goodbye, which I was like, I'm so used to guys only wanting to use me for one thing that, like, I thought I was friend zoned. I was like, this guy doesn't even like me or see me in that way. Like, he's literally just looking for an adventure buddy, which I was fine with. I mean, I liked him, so of course I wanted more. But, you know, I was fine with it. I was still gonna, like, go for the ride. And so, he gave me a hug. And then he was like, we need to put up the tent. So we put up the tent. And then he built the fire all by himself, because obviously I was no help because I've never been camping. And he like gave me this tray when he was done building the fire, and he had like hummus on it, and like, I'm trying to remember, guys, like pretzels and apples and like red bell peppers and just all this stuff. And I was like, oh, am I gonna help you cook? Because in my head I was like, I know I told this guy on our first date, like, I can't make ice, like I'm a terrible cook. And he was like, no, I got this for you to eat while I cook you dinner. He really likes Indian food, and like I said, he's mostly vegan. Actually, I don't know if I said that, but he's mostly vegan. He made some type of dish, but it was really bland, and I remember I didn't like it very much. He was so sweet, like talking to me the whole time. I think I moved that. Talking to me the whole time that he like cooked me dinner, and I can't remember what he said. But I remember, like, oh, he said something about, like, trying to make everything perfect since it was my first time camping, or trying to make me, like, a great meal, or something like that. And I said to him, like, wow, like, I feel special. And he, like, stopped what he was doing, and he turned and looked at me, and he was like, you are special. And I just remember, like, getting this huge smile on my face when he said it. because no one had ever said that to me. And so we ate dinner, and then after dinner he was like, I have a surprise for you. And I was like, oh, okay, this is where it happens. He's gonna pull out a butcher knife. Like, now that I'm fed and full and can't run away, like, he's gonna kill me. He like reaches around and pulls out a bag of marshmallows. And I was shocked, and I was like, but these aren't vegan. And he was like, I know, but he's like, the fake ones aren't very good, and I wanted you to have the best. He was like, but I forgot to bring like sticks for it, so we need to go and find sticks to like roast our marshmallows on. He's like, we'll just go down here. And he kind of had to climb like down this cliff. Not a cliff, but like a, I don't know, like a small mountain. I don't know. He's the outdoorsy one, not me. And he took me down, and he was like, we'll just go a little bit this way and like look for the sticks. And in my head, I'm like, or to the pre-dug hole that you're gonna stuff my body into. But he didn't. He literally just found 2 sticks. And keep in mind, he still has not kissed me, put his arm around me, like anything. At first I was like, oh, this is it. Like, he's gonna hold my hand at least because he knows I'm afraid of the dark. He didn't. And then we made it back to camp or whatever. When we were coming back from getting the sticks, like the stars had really come out. So when we were coming back from getting the sticks, he said, look, you can see the stars. And I looked up, and they were just, like, they filled the sky. It was incredible. It looked like a strainer with light. It was breathtaking. And he told me to, like, look for this one constellation, and I couldn't see it. And he was like, well, you have to, like, bend backwards to see it, like, kind of like you're going to do a back bend. And I started to do it, and then I was like, no, I feel like I'm going to fall. And then he was like, here, I'll hold you, and, like, did me back. And in my head, again, I'm thinking, like, so you could expose my throat and slit it. But he did me back, and then I did see the constellation that he was talking about. And when he brought me back up, he kissed me. And it was just like such a good first kiss, you guys. It was incredible. It was just so magical. I have never had an amazing first kiss with any guy. Like, nothing cute, nothing romantic. It's just been like a goodbye kiss or a kiss that quickly leads to something else. And this kiss didn't lead to anything else. This kiss was perfect, and it was just a kiss. And he like pulled back from me, and he like put his arm around me, and we just stood there staring up at the stars for a solid like 3-5 minutes, I don't know. And then we went over and he made me marshmallows. The next part, like, I was sitting at a campfire, you know, kind of like I'm sitting in my bathroom now, so I'm not like leaning against anything, and I have really poor circulation. I don't know if it's because I'm pudgy or just because that's my genetics, but my feet fall asleep really easily when I sit, so I constantly was like putting my leg out and bringing it back in. And he was sitting next to me, so like if he was right here in the toilet where he belongs. I'm just kidding, that was mean. And he was like, do you want a backboard? Like, I have a really good one. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. And he got up and he came and sat behind me and put his legs right here, and I leaned against him. And I just thought it was like the sweetest gesture, like, on earth. I feel like these are the moments that I was falling in love with him, because he just kept doing things that he didn't have to do, and he kept just doing them to be nice and to be sweet and not to get anything out of me. Because I'm just going to fast forward to the end of this, like, we did not have sex in that tent. He did not make that move. Like, we definitely went farther than kissing, but we did not go all the way. Even as heartbroken as I am, I truly feel like that will go down as the best day of my entire life. And it's a night that I'll never forget, that I'll never want to forget. It was just incredible and perfect from start to finish. I wanted to tell you guys about that date specifically because I feel like that really shows his character and who he is. You know, he's a gentleman and he's outdoorsy and he is sweet and caring and he's gentle and he's not a pig. And he was just perfect.